I told him yesterday to get that stopped. I need one more. Just like, I need one more.
Here we go.
I'm not sure. I didn't say anything.
Thank you. Okay, so as we look at these, we are doing systems of equation word problems. So we are still using elimination or substitution, but today you have to come up with the equations on your own, which is going to make it a decent amount trickier. You have done this before. You have pulled equations from story problems before. Now you just have to find two equations instead of one. So a couple steps. First thing, we are going to define the variables. Okay? We are going to look for what they're asking for. Now, if they don't explicitly say what they're asking for, we can still kind of look at the problem and kind of figure it out. But we need to define the variable. What does x equal? What does y equal? You don't have to use x and y. You can use whatever, but that's what we're looking for. So we're first going to define the variable. Second thing is set up the two equations. It is a system, so we are looking at for two equations. So we're going to pull phrases, pull words from the story problem to help me set up my equations. Once I have my two equations, you have to decide which of the two ways. There are three ways. We're not going to use graphing because it's kind of hard to use with story problems. You have to decide which way you want to use, either elimination or substitution. So step 3 is to actually solve it. And you can either use elimination, like we just did on the warm-up, or substitution. Now, I've talked about, as we did this the past couple weeks, I kind of talked to you and gave you hints about this is when you want to use elimination, this is when you want to use substitution. So what did I tell you? What form, if my equations look like this,
is elimination the easiest? Yeah. That's for graphing. Standard. So if my equations are in standard form, so x and y are on the same side, if my equations are in standard form, elimination will usually be the easiest. Now that doesn't mean that substitution won't work, you just may have a couple extra steps in there. Substitution, how do I want my equations to look like? So if my equations look like this, it will tell me to use substitution. So in order to use substitution, what do I need my equations to look like? No? What was that? Y equals or x equals. If my equations looks like y equals or x equals, then we know what to substitute in. We know what to plug in for either x or y. So that is when substitution will be easiest. So you need to look at your equations and you need to decide, okay, which one will be easiest? Are they in standard form? Then you're going to want to use elimination. Are they is one of the equations x equals or y equals? Then substitution may be easiest. Either way will work. This is just kind of the clue to tell you which one will be easiest. Okay, any questions on that? Okay. We're going to skip around. We're not going to do all of these. There are a lot of problems. We're just going to kind of skip around. There's different categories. So let's look at the second problem down here. Okay, these are looking at missing numbers. I want to know what are the numbers. Okay, one number is 17 more than 3 times another number. The sum of the two numbers is 41. I want to find the numbers. First thing we need to do is we need to define the variable. What are they asking for in this problem?
Find the numbers.
Find the numbers. So x is going to be a number. And we use the hashtag symbol to represent number. X is a number, and y is another number. So whatever they're asking for, even if they don't explicitly ask for it, you can still kind of figure out what they want to know. I want to know the number. So x is a number, and then y is another number. Step 2, set up your equations. So read through, try to pull out information that is going to tell you what my equations will look like. Now, first thing I look for is the word is or was or is the same as, because that means an equal sign. So as I read this first sentence, one number is 17 more than 3 times another number.
More than.
We're setting up equations, not inequalities. One number is 17 more than 3 times another number. So how would I represent this as an equation?
You could put like y is more than 17.
I want an equation, so like explain to me how that would look like an equation.
Maybe
One number is, what will that look like? One number is, y equals. Okay? Now does it matter if I do x equals or y equals? No, both of them represent a number. So one number is y equals. You could also put x equals. We're just going to do y equals. One number is 17 more than 3 times another number. How do I represent 17 more than 3 times another number?
17 plus 3x.
Yes. 17 more than 3 times another number. 17 plus 3x. The second equation, the sum of the two numbers is 41. How do I represent the sum of the two numbers is 41 in an equation?
X plus y equals
X plus y equals 41. The sum of the two numbers, which means addition. The sum of the two numbers, which is x plus y, is equals 41. Now I have my two equations, so I need to decide which of the two ways do I want to solve this, elimination or substitution. Either way will work. One will generally be easier. So as I look at my two equations, which one will be easiest, elimination or substitution? Why? Why would substitution be easiest? Why is it already set up? Y equals. I already have an equation that's x equals or y equals. So that tells me I can take 17 plus 3x and plug it in where? To y in the other equation. This is substitution is the easiest because we already have an equation that is y equals. So I can take 17 plus x and plug it into y in the other equation. My bottom equation will now look like what?
that would be x plus 17 plus 3x.
Okay? This is all review. You've done substitution before. The only thing different today is you have to come up with the two equations on your own. So x plus 17 plus 3x equals 41. Only variable left is x. How do I start solving this for x?
Combine like 10.
Okay, what is x plus 3x?
4x.
4x plus 17 equals 41. Now you might get some big numbers with these. Use a calculator. Get over that. You'll be fine.
It'll be 24.
Okay, what do I do next?
Subtract 13.
Subtract 17. So 4x, 41 minus 17,
24.
24. Divided by 4, x equals 6. This is all review. Now make sure you answer the question. Sometimes they're just going to ask for one of the things and not both. But in this case it says find the number, so I need to find both numbers. So if I found one number to be 6, how do I find the other number? Plug it in. Substitution is nice because there's always going to be a nice equation to plug it into. I have y equals 17 plus 3x. So I take 6 and plug it in where x is in that equation. 3 times 16, or 3 times 6, and then 17 plus 18. So my two numbers are 6 and 35. They add to give me 41, and then 35 is 17 more than 3 times 6.
You can plug in both those numbers in A's equations. They look like.
Correct. Yep. Any questions on that? Okay. Let's look at the next one. This is talking about money. So let's look at the bottom equation, or the bottom problem. Alyssa has $75 less than 3 times Eric. Together they have $900. They do not specifically ask for something, but as I read this, What am I wanting to know? What can you kind of figure out they want to know just by kind of reading it?
How much money Eric has?
And how much money Alyssa has. So that's going to be step 1, define your variable. So I'm going to let A be Alyssa money, how much money Alyssa has, and E be how much money Eric has, Eric money. So even though they don't come out and say how much do each person have, you can kind of assume that. Okay. So as I look at this, you can use A and E, it doesn't matter. You can use X and Y, it doesn't really matter. Now let's set up my 2 equations. So that's the hardest part with this, is trying to set up my 2 equations. So step 2, Alyssa has $75 less than 3 times Eric.
Is that Y equals or not?
No, because we're using A and E.
So, A equals then?
Okay, Alyssa has, which means A equals. Okay, so Alyssa has, which is A equals
Let's do 75, so let's do
75 less than. So we talked about this before.
75 minus no E.
75 less than.
E minus 75?
Keep looking at it.
75 minus E?
Keep looking at it. Someone else can help her. 3E minus 75. Yep.
Oh, yes.
Because it is 75 less than 3 times Eric. Okay? So as I look at my equation, it is 75 less than 3 times Eric. So Alyssa equals 75 less than 3 times Eric. Remember, less than pushes it to the back. So 75 less than 3 times Eric. Any questions on that equation? The second equation. Together they have $900.
A plus E equals 900.
Yep. Together, which means I put them together. I put the total. Together they have $900. A plus E is $900. I have my 2 equations. Now we decide elimination or substitution. Substitution, because I already have an equation that's A equals. So I take what A is equal to, 3E minus 75, and I do what with it? Plug it in where A is. So look at your bottom equation, and we're going to plug 3E minus 75 in where A is. So it's 3E minus 75 plus E equals 900. Once you get your 2 equations, it is exactly the same thing we've been doing for the past couple weeks. You guys can do this. Now I have an equation. My only variable left is E. So what do I do first to try to solve this for E?
Were you getting decimal this one?
No. Yes, because we're talking about money. Okay, I add what? Okay, I could add 75. And then I could also do what on the left side? Okay. So that will leave me with how many E's? 4E. 3E plus, you have to take the sign in front. Now, the negative goes with the 75. 3E plus E is 4E equals what?
200.
Okay, well, no, I want to do this. 900 plus 75, 975. 4E equals 975. How do I solve for E? Divide by 4. So on your calculator, 975, huh? Well, go grab one, because you're going to want. Okay. 975 divided by 4?
243.
Okay.
0.75.
Can I have a decimal? Yes? Why? Someone said it. Money. E is the amount of money. I can have $243.75. That is okay. If I know how much money Eric has, now use the equation.
That's easier. A equals 3 times 243.75 minus 75.
So plug it in. Substitution is nice, even though that may not be your first choice, because you're always going to have a nice equation to plug it into. What is 3 times 243.75? Did you plug it in a calculator? You guys can plug it in your calculator. I'm not asking too much. 3 times 243.75. 731.25 minus 75. So what is 731.25 minus 75? 656.25. That's how much money Alyssa has.
Wait, is that our answer or no? We need to order pairs.
No, you don't need to put it as ordered pairs for this, because story problems are asking for things. So ordered pairs don't always make sense. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, let's look at another example. Let's look on the back. Let's look at talking about coins. Okay, let's look at the top one. Jalen has 1035 in quarters and nickels. He has a total of 99 coins. Doesn't specifically say this is what I'm looking for. Let's kind of use common sense. What do you think they are looking for in this problem?
How many quarters and nickels?
How many quarters and how many nickels? So Q is going to be the number of quarters. And N is the number of nickels. So we are looking for the number. How many quarters? How many nickels? Now this one's kind of tricky, but if we think about it, I think we can get it. So I'm looking for the number of quarters and the number of nickels. Now I need to get my 2 equations from this. This is kind of tricky. I need to get my 2 equations. I have 2 totals. What totals do they give me? They give me 2 totals here.
1035.
1035 is dealing with what? The total of what? The money. $10.35 is dealing with how much total money I have. What's the other total they give me?
99.
Which is how many? Yeah, but 99 represents how many coins? That's the difference. One total is dealing with the total amount of money. One total is dealing with the number of coins. So what will one of my equations look like? Let's start with 99. If I have 99 total coins, what will that equation look like?
99.
I have 99 total
That
coins.
would be Q plus N equals 99.
Q plus N equals 99. Good. That is the number of quarters plus the number of nickels is 99. Elijah, keep your head up, please. Q is the number of quarters plus the number of nickels is 99. I have 99 total coins. Now, the other total is 1035. What would the equation look like if I have a total of $10.35?
Q plus N equals,
Do what?
would it be Q plus N equals?
No.
Oh.
Why would it not just be Q plus N?
Because since quarters and nickels aren't like 1, they're like 25 and 5.
Okay. So let's think about this. Okay. I am dealing, what does Q represent? Quarters. So if I just have Q plus N, the number of quarters. If I just add the number of quarters and the number of nickels together, does that tell me how much total money I have? No. So think about it. How much does 6 quarters? 6 quarters is how much money?
$1.50.
$1.50. 10 quarters is how much money?
$2.50.
Okay, how are we getting it?
Out of 25 right now.
So I'm doing what?
Keep on that.
No, you're doing something.
1 point.
Multiply by what?
0.25.
0.25. So if I want to know how much monetary value quarters have, I have to take 0.25 times Q. This is the difference. This is important. This is the total amount of money. $10.35 is the total amount of money, not the total number of coins. So to find the total amount of money, I have to take the number of quarters times how much they're worth. 25 cents, 0.25. So I'm going to have to take the number of nickels and multiply by what?
0.5.
0.5 would be
Oh, 5.05.
0.05. 0.5 is 50 cents, so it needs to be 0.05. Because I'm talking about the total amount of money, not the total number of coins. Do we see the difference there? Yes? Really? Or are you just saying that?
I see it.
Are you okay with that? One is the total number of coins. One is the total amount of money. Now, if I need to solve this, do I use elimination or substitution?
Elimination.
Elimination, because my equations are in what form? Standard. You could use substitution. Elimination will be a little easier. So, if I want to use elimination, what do I need to have in order to eliminate a variable? Same number, opposite sign. So as I look at my two equations, do I currently have same number, opposite sign? No. What am I going to have to do in order to get a same number, opposite sign on one of the variables?
Multiply the top one by negative 0.25.
Yep. Multiply the top one by negative 0.25. Now, it's the same thing we're doing. Get over the fact that we're working with decimal. Who cares? Use a calculator if it confuses you. I need to get a negative 0.25q on top, so that cancels out with a positive 0.25q. You could also have multiplied by a negative 0.05 and cancel out the ends. Either way is fine. So we're going to take a negative 0.25 and multiply it through my top equation. So use your calculator. What will my top equation look like after I multiply by negative 0.25?
It would be negative 0.25q minus negative 0.25n.
And then what is negative 0.25 times 99?
24.75.
Negative 24.75. My bottom equation I did nothing to, so it stays 0.25q plus 0.05n equals 1035. I did nothing with it. This is exactly what we did, but you have to work with decimals. You will be fine. Use the calculator. That's why I want you to get it out so you can get practice plugging in decimals. Do I have same number, opposite sign coefficients? Yes. So what can I do with these two equations? Add. So if I add these two equations, like we did on the warm-up, what happens to my q's? Cancel. How many n's will I have? What is negative 0.25 plus 0.05? Negative 0.2. Do it on your calculator. Negative 0.2n equals what is negative 24.75 plus 10.35. Negative 4. Now, how do I find?
That's the point here. How do I find n? Negative 0.2. Negative 14.4 divided by negative 0.2 is what? 72. Is that right? Yeah. Now, what type of number would n have to be? What does n represent? Number of nickels. So I can't have what for n?
Oh, we have to divide by 5.
No.
What?
N is the number of nickels. What type of number could I not get back for n if it represents the number of nickels?
A number?
What type of numbers can I not get back for n?
Negative?
Could not get a negative. I can't get a decimal. I can't have half of a nickel or 0.2 of a nickel. So we should be getting back a whole number. Now let's find how many dimes or how many quarters. How do I figure out how many quarters? Plug it in. Q plus 72 equals 99. If I want to know Q, I want to know how many quarters. Plug it into the easy equation. Q plus n equals 99. Plug 72 in for n. What do I do next to find Q? Minus 72, minus 72. Q is, what is 99 minus 72? 27. So 27 quarters, 72 nickels. No, it doesn't really make sense. No. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, let's look at another example. Break even. Let's try this one. A computer company sells laptops for $400. It costs $120 to make each laptop, and they spent $2,000 in initial setup costs. How many laptops must they make to break even? Let's think about this. What does breaking even mean in terms of a business? Wake up. You weren't, but that's okay. Well, let's not write down. But. Okay, if I'm breaking even in a business, what does that mean? If I want to break even, if I have a business and I want to break even, what does that mean? Think about it. Keep thinking about it. If I want to break even, if I'm running a company and I want to break even, what does that mean?
Okay, I've heard it before.
If I want to break even, what does that mean in the business sense?
Wait, does that mean like you don't owe anything?
I don't owe anything.
Yeah.
So that means the amount of money I'm making is equal to the amount of money.
You're
You're just breaking even. You're not gaining a lot, but you don't owe anything.
Correct. So the amount of money I'm bringing in is equal to the amount of money I owe, or it costs to make something. Okay. So when I'm breaking even, that means the amount of money I'm making is equal to the amount of money that is costing me to do something. Okay? So let's look at this one. First of all, let's define the variable. What do they want to know for this first question?
How many laptops?
How many laptops? So I'm going to let L be the number of laptops. Okay? So I want to know L, the number of laptops. I want to break even. So the amount of money I have coming in that I'm making has to be equal to the amount of money that it makes for me to make these goods, that it costs me. Okay, how much money do I have coming in? If I am selling laptops, how much money does it tell me I have coming in? How much money am I making? $400, more specific, per laptop. So that's going to be 400 what? L. I am making $400 per laptop. So I'm making $400 per laptop. $400 L. How much money does it cost me to make these laptops? $120 for each laptop, which I can represent as 120 what? L. And then it also costs me what?
$2,000.
For a setup fee. So the amount of money I'm making, which is 400L, is equal to the amount of money that it costs for me to make this. $120 per laptop plus $2,000 setup fee. They have to be even because I want to break even. I want them to be the same. Solve this equation for L. So this one's a little different. How do I solve this equation for L? Subtract 120L. So what is 400L minus 120L? No. Close. 280L. So 280L equals 2,000. How do I find L? 280. So 2,000 divided by 280.
Oh, 7 is decimal.
Okay.
7.14.
Now let's think about this. I cannot have a decimal number of laptops. So I either need to round down to 7 or round up to 8. Let's think about this. Which way do I need to round this? Do I want to round up to 8 or down to 7? Up to 8. I want to round up to 8 because if I round down, I'm not going to make enough money. So I'd rather round up to 8 because I'm going to make more than enough to break even. So 8 laptops.
That's it?
Yes. But people don't buy laptops that time. Okay, let's look at a couple more. We're not taking notes tomorrow, so we're going to take a little more notes today. Okay, how much things cost? Let's look at the next. We're looking at the second one on the next page. Okay, 17 apples and 12 oranges cost $10.44. 3 apples and 4 oranges. Stay with me, guys. 3 apples and 4 oranges cost $2.84. How much does 1 apple cost, and how much does 1 orange cost? What am I looking for? Okay. So A and O. Let's not use O. We'll use R for orange. A is going to be the cost of apple. And I'm going to let R be the cost of orange. Okay, so step 1, define your variables. I want to know what is the cost of an apple, what is the cost of an orange. So A is going to be the cost of an apple. R, so I don't get confused with the 0 for orange, is going to be the cost of an orange. Now let's set up my equations. What will one equation look like?
A,
17 apples and 12 oranges cost $10.44.
A plus 12R equals 10.
That's cute. Yeah. 17A, 17 apples, and 12 oranges cost $10.44. Okay? So, 17 apples and 12 oranges cost $10.44. My other equation will look like what? $2.84. Okay? So my second equation, 3 apples and 4 oranges cost $2.84. Okay. Now, I have to decide how to solve this. Elimination or substitution. Elimination, they are in the standard form. Elimination is easiest. So as I look at this, I need to decide, am I going to try to eliminate the A's or the R's?
The R's.
Why the R's? Okay. Look at your variables. Can I multiply anything by 3 to get a negative 17?
Yeah, no.
No. Can I multiply something by 4 to get a negative 12? So what times 4 will give me a negative 12R? Negative 3. So we're going to take my bottom equation and we are going to multiply by a negative 3. So negative 9A minus 12R equals, what is negative 3 times 284? Do it on your calculator. Negative 3 times 284. Negative 8.52. And that's my new bottom equation. So you can kind of cross out the old one if you want to. I don't really care. So that's my new bottom equation. I took a negative 3 and multiplied it through. Because when I add these two equations, what will happen to my R's? They will cancel. So let's add 17A plus a negative 9A. 8A. The R's cancel. What is 1044 plus a negative 852? What is it? 119? 1.92. Okay. Sorry. 1.92. So 1044 plus a negative 852 is 1.92. What do I do next? Divide by 8. So A is what? What is 1.92 divided by 8? 0.24. Okay, let's see. Does that make sense? A is the cost of an apple, so that tells me an apple costs what? 24 cents. Okay. Now let's find R. If I know A is 24 cents, how do I find R? Just turn it on here. Okay. Plug it in. I would use the original one because it's going to be easier to work with. 3 times 0.24, because that was A, plus 4R equals 284. So 3 times 0.24 plus 4R equals 284. Because I plug A, just because I'm working at decimals, it's still the same thing. What is 3 times 0.24? Is that 0.72 plus 4R equals 2.84? How do I solve for R?
Take away 0.72.
minus subtract 0.72. So 4R equals what?
4 equals 2.12.
Okay. So what's 2.84 minus 0.72? 2.12. Is that right? Someone do it on a calculator. Divide by 4. So what is 2.12 divided by 4?
0.53.
Okay. 0.53. Look at it and see if it makes sense. Colored in orange costs 53 cents.
Yeah, that's not too out of the question.
Okay. So we're going to do a couple more. We're just going to get the notes done today, and you'll have time tomorrow to work on the homework if we don't have much time. I'd rather just get the notes done, and that way they're done. I know it's kind of long, but you'll be fine. Okay. Just wait. Well, we have 2 more, and then we'll get done. We'll get done. Okay, so let's look at the next one, ticket type. So these are dealing with tickets. Okay, let's look at this one. Okay, let's look at the first one. The Odyssey Rockets basketball team charges $5 for adult tickets and $2 for student tickets. Last night they made $546 and sold 183 tickets. How many adult and student tickets did they sell? First thing, define your variables. What are they asking for? Okay, so A is the number of adult tickets. We'll let TX be tickets. So A is the number of adult tickets, and S is the number of student tickets. So whatever they're asking for is what my variables. Now they give me 2 totals. One total is what? It's kind of like the coin problem we did earlier.
546.
And that is the total amount of what?
Money.
Money. The other total is what? How many tickets? So what would be my one equation? If I sold 183 tickets, what would that equation look like? I sold a total of 183 tickets.
Oh, so, 5.6.
Nope. Okay, listen up. You guys can get this. You're stop paying attention because I'm making you take notes a little longer today. You'll be fine. I sold a total of 183 tickets. So how do I write that as an equation?
183 equals.
I sold a total of 183 tickets. A is the number of adult tickets, and S is the number of student tickets. So what's my equation look like? Some of you guys aren't actually thinking about this. A is the number of student tickets, and S is the number of, or A is the number of adult tickets, and S is the number of student tickets.
5A plus 2S equals 183.
No. A is the number of adult tickets, and S is the number of student tickets. How many total tickets did I buy? Or did I sell? Okay, so how would I represent that equation?
Would you just do like 5A equals 183?
No? Are we going to put forth an effort, or are we just going to kind of not? Because I'm not going to sit here and tell you this, because I'm asking you guys a question, and more than one person can answer. Okay? Let's say that again. Say it again, what you just said. Okay? Why did you get that? Okay? Someone else, help them out.
Wait, what did he say?
183 equals A plus S.
Oh, it's because it's the total of adult and student tickets.
Okay.
Are we trying to do, okay, so wait, would it be like, plus, or A plus S equals 183.
Okay, and why would that be?
Because the number of adults and students.
Okay, what does 183 represent?
How many tickets?
Total.
How many total number of tickets? So A plus S is 183. What's my other total they give me? Okay, and that represents the total amount of what? Money. So how do I represent how much total money I made?
You would do 5A
Okay, plus
2S.
2S. I made $5 per adult ticket and $2 per student ticket. You have to look at the totals. One total is dealing with the number of tickets. The other total is dealing with how much money I made. So be careful that you keep track of those. Okay, elimination or substitution? I would use elimination. Substitution wouldn't be terrible, but I would use elimination. Do I want to eliminate A or S? S. So what do I need to get on top in order to eliminate my S's? So what am I going to multiply the top equation by? -2. So I'm going to take my top equation and multiply it by a -2. My top equation will look like what?
-2A minus 2S equals -366.
Okay. I took my top equation and multiplied by -2. My bottom equation I did nothing with, so I am just going to keep it. Now I have same number, opposite sign. So what do I do with these two equations? Add them. So if I add them, what does it look like? No, what's -2A plus 5A? Equals, the S's cancel. What is -366 plus 546? 180. How do I find A? Divide by 3. So A is what? 60. It's the number of tickets. So 60 adult tickets makes sense. Not going to get a decimal. Now, how do I find the number of student tickets? Plug it in. Which would be the easiest equation? A plus S equals 183. A is 60, so I plug 60 where A is. Either equation would work. That would be easiest. And then how do I find S, the number of student tickets? Subtract 60, subtract 60. S is what? 123. So 60 adult tickets and 123 student tickets. We're going to do one more because I want to get done with this today, and then tomorrow you can just work on the homework. Let's do it. Okay.
You're on your 35, right?
Do it.
You're on your 35, right?
Okay, let's look at the very last question. We're talking about geometry, figures, area, rectangle. Okay. So as I look at this very last problem, the length of a rectangle is 15 more than 3 times the width. The perimeter is 110. What is the area? I'm looking for the area. What is the area? Now this one's a little tricky because they don't tell me anything else about the area. So this one's kind of one where I'm not necessarily looking for, I'm looking for the area, but let's kind of think about it. What shape am I dealing with? Rectangle. What's the area formula for a rectangle? L times W, length times width. Okay? What's the perimeter formula for a rectangle? It's just good things to refresh real quick. Nope.
Something plus something.
2L plus 2W. So the perimeter formula for a rectangle is 2 times the length plus 2 times the W. So it's just kind of good things to kind of refresh real quick. Let's start writing my equations. The length of a rectangle is 15 more than 3 times the width.
how do I write the equation for the length of a rectangle is 15 more than 3 times the width? You guys can get this. Stay with me. The length of a rectangle is 15 more than 3 times the width.
So something equals 15.
3W plus 15.
The length of a rectangle is 15 more than 3 times the width.
Is a linear sign.
Okay? Guys, stay with me up there. Length of a rectangle is 15 more than 3 times the width. No. L. The length of a rectangle is, so L equals what?
15 plus 3W.
15 plus 3W. The length of a rectangle is equals 15 more than 3 times the width. So L equals 15 plus 3W. My other equation is going to be what? The perimeter is 110.
P equals, right now I'm at 110 equals 2L plus 2W.
Okay. My other equation, they tell me the perimeter. So plug the perimeter into the perimeter formula. The perimeter is 110. So 110, which is P, the perimeter, is 2L plus 2W. Now, let's solve this system of equations. Substitution or elimination? Substitution, why? L is equal to 15 plus 3W. So I take 15 plus 3W and plug it in where? L. So I take 15 plus 3W and plug it in where L is. 110 equals 2 times what?
15
Plus
plus 3W.
2W. So now we have a system. We plugged in L, 15 plus 3W and for L. Let's solve this equation for W. How do I solve this equation? Someone help her out. Distribute. So if I distribute my 2, what do I get? 30 plus 2W. Okay, what do I do next? Okay, so 110 equals 30 plus what?
8W.
Okay, subtract the 30.
80.
Guys, 80 equals 8W. Elijah, please. Divide by 8. 80 divided by 8 is 10. So my width is 10. Have I answered the question? No. I want to know the what? Area. I found the width. So what do I need to find next? L. So how do I find L if I know the width is 10? Plug it in. So L equals 15 plus 3 times 10. What's 3 times 10? 30 plus 15. How do I answer the question? No, I want the area. How do I find the area?
You multiply 45 times 10 back here.
45 times 10. Length times width. So this one's a little different because I want the area. So you had to multiply the length and the width. So the area is 450. So make sure you actually answer the question. Okay, so we are done with the notes for tomorrow. So I just wanted to get through it so you were done with them so we don't have to worry about it tomorrow.
Thank you.
I like it.